out there, and thank you for joining my video. This is Brett Gurney with Valentus, and in this video, Peggy DeSalis, double diamond in Valentus. Well, she's a double diamond now at the time of this recording, but she very well may be a triple diamond or higher when you see the video, whenever that is, okay? So she's going to interview the Prevail Max creator and formulator, Dr. Shawn Mueller. Okay, so thank you, Peggy, for providing this wonderful content so that we can all learn and become more educated on the Valentus product. And we will see you all at the end of the video, okay, for just a minute before I sign off. Thanks and enjoy. Bye.
All right, good afternoon, good morning, good evening from wherever you are joining me from. This is Double Diamond at Valentus, Peggy DeSalis, and I have a very special guest on our Zoom today, and I am so blessed and honored to be spending this time with him, and that he's granted me this time together with him. So if you could please welcome my special guest, Dr. Shawn Mueller, the formulator of our amazing Prevail Max product and our Prevail Canine. Thanks for joining me, Dr. Mueller.
Peggy, it is always a pleasure.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. I really, really appreciate you taking the time, because I think everybody will be super excited to hear straight from the horse's mouth all about Prevail Max. So without further ado, let's get started. So my first question to you is, how does Prevail Max work? Can you explain it in a very simple way so that everybody can understand it that, isn't a doctor?
I will do my very best to do just that, Peggy. Why it works so well is it's not what it consists of. It's what we do with the formula during the manufacturing process. Because what we do is, a first point would be, we break down these very specific and select electrolytes into a much smaller form. Now, sometimes it's been referred to as nano, but see, that's a broad term I want everybody to try and stay away from. It is actually crystalloid, which is a very, very small form of an electrolyte, which allows the penetration into the cell after you ingest it. So that's why it's a spray. You don't have to ingest it and wait a long time. You spray, it absorbs quickly through the palate of your mouth and into the bloodstream, and it begins to work its magic. But also, too, during the process of manufacturing, we do something, again, very special, because electrolytes can conduct and hold electricity. And we are electrical beings. Our bodies are electrical. We all know this. And when we can conduct that electricity by way of these electrolytes, which can transport said electricity throughout our body to enhance our nervous system and so on, we do something special, which it's proprietary, and I can't divulge that. But we work with the polarity of these electrolytes, which allows that charge to take place within our bodies. So it's almost like charging our bodies electrically.
Okay, and why is that important?
It's extremely important because it's just like anything else. If we were to refer ourselves as the automobiles that we drive every single day, if you don't have a good charge in your battery, you're not going to get very far. Or if you have a weak charge in your car's battery, your car is going to act a little bit on the bad side. You're not going to get the performance that you need. And that analogy, I think, applies here to the human body as well, simply because if we don't have that charge in our bodies, our heart doesn't beat properly, our eyes cannot blink. You see where I'm going with this? Every single thing that we do, our respiration, everything is reliant upon a strong, proper electrical charge. And that's critical.
And that's exactly what Prevail Max does then.
It does exactly that. Mm-hmm. Exactly that.
Now, I've heard you say that it also goes in and kind of puffs up the red blood cells, and so it allows them to do exactly what they're intended to do. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Once these electrolytes make contact with our red blood cells, and it does so very quickly, as we can see from various blood analysis testing, And what transpires at that point is when these electrolytes come into contact with the outer layer of the red blood cell, a change takes place. It's kind of like an electrical charge in layman's terms, without getting into too much detail. And what that does, it allows all that water that's already in our bloodstream, plasma, et cetera, accompanied by other nutrients that we ingest and take in, and oxygen that's present in the bloodstream. All that really good, critical, life-giving essence is then allowed to enter in and penetrate into the red blood cells, because it's our RBCs, our red blood cells, that transport all these life-giving nutrients throughout the body to all our tissues for health and well-being.
Awesome. So we've heard that life is in the blood. That's very true.
It's extremely true. We hear life is in the blood, but if you want to break it down one more layer of that onion, if you will, life begins at the cellular level. It's the cell. So, but where's our home? Where's the cell's home? Where's the cell live? In our blood. So,
Excellent. Awesome. So now, why should somebody use this? Let's even just give examples, just regular people, or weekend warriors, or even, professional athletes. Why should they use Prevail Max?
I've been asked that question. That's probably one of the top 3 questions that I'm asked. And my answer is, first, why wouldn't you want to? But I get it. I think it out loud before I actually say it, simply because those who are asking, they want information. They want to know, just like what we're doing right now, you and I, Peggy, sharing this information with the world. So the answer to that question is, why would you want to take it? It's simply because our bodies are so challenged by daily life. And you could be, whatever your occupation is, sitting behind a desk, behind a computer, under ultraviolet lights. I think people are getting the message where I'm going with this, a kind of a sedentary disposition, or quite the contrary. What if you're out there in the field, you're in the ditches, you're climbing telephone poles to make sure that we have power to our homes? I can go on and on and on. We're all listening. We all can, relate to these analogies. The thing is, we need that electrical charge. We need the energy. Energy doesn't come from, and I don't like using names of other products, but like energy drinks and things of that nature. This is not where we get our energy from. It's not natural. Our energy is given to us from above. It's within. And that's where Prevail Max steps in, takes the bull by the horns, and provides us that cellular energy that we need to go on. But with that energy, I have to say this, is coupled with an enhanced integrity of health and well-being quite abundantly. Because with that extended energy, we can transport nutrients better, like I just previously mentioned, to all the tissues, to feed them with that which is good, but also too through the detox process. Now, one of the things which I often have time to mention from the stage is the detox principles of Prevail Max and how that has a positive and very profound effect. Go back to what I just mentioned earlier at the start of our conversation, Peggy. I said these electrolytes are very small. These electrolytes are small enough to actually penetrate into the lymphatic system as well. And one of the chief constituents, or jobs, if you will, of an electrolyte on a cellular level is also for detoxification. Mm-hmm. Now, and that's hugely important. Me as a naturopathic physician, I wouldn't treat a patient prior to detox. It's a complete waste of time, because you're not going to cover the ground that you need to get them well. So hopefully, that's a roundabout way of answering the question, but I think we pinpointed the answer you're looking for.
Right. And well, we never talk about Prevail Max as like a detox tool. So that's awesome for everybody to hear. So let's talk about the different types of people that could potentially use this product. Just a person who isn't, that active, somebody who's a weekend warrior and somewhat active, and then someone who's extremely active, like an athlete, a collegiate athlete, or a professional athlete. What would be the benefit for all these different types of people to use Prevail Max?
Well, there's so many answers to that question that's relevant to all 3 categories that you had just mentioned. Let me just pull one out of the air that I think is extremely important and completely relevant to both the average individual, not unlike myself, or the weekend warrior. And I love that term, where we try to get that run in the weekend, or we bike, or we do what we do on the weekends for that extra level of physical activity. And then we can graduate into the collegiate and also professional levels of athleticism. One common denominator that we all experience, whether it be a buildup of lactic acid through exercise and activity, but it's inflammation. It's inflammation. And that is one of the biggest things. When I did my tour in Europe a few years ago to test this product on lay people, we did hundreds of people from all the way down to Spain, all the way up to Norway. And the one common denominator was inflammation on a cellular level. And what Prevail Max was able to accomplish, it was to minimize and balance that level of inflammation, which is critically important. And what I'm saying is, by getting rid of that cellular inflammation, what it is it's like everybody has symptoms of cellular inflammation, which is, it can be like arthritic symptoms, for example. I'm not saying it's arthritis, but the stiff joints, the soreness, and so on. And you're going to notice through all these testimonials that we've received through the Valentus, it's so cool, and I love these testimonials, how all that is alleviated. Even canine with our four-legged family members. Right. It's the same thing. So getting rid of that inflammation allows us to do more at a higher level of productivity. And that goes from the layperson behind the desk during the week to the bikes and the running paths on the weekend, all the way to our high school collegiate levels. My brother is a chiropractor and deals with the local high school team, and they love Prevail Max. They won't do without it. They went to the state finals in football this year because of it. I mean, the list goes on and on. Then we can graduate up to the collegiate levels and then the pro levels. And it's no secret, and I've said it from the stage, a very dear friend of mine, Mr. Ron Porterfield, who was with the Tampa Bay Rays, now with the Dodgers, was the head trainer for the Rays, now is in charge of player health and performance with the Dodgers, used Prevail Max and through me. Back in the day down here in Florida. Wow. Great results, and they love it. So, and there's a reason. There's reasons for this. So let the testimonials do the talking at the end of the day.
Right. And if anybody has any questions, they can always go to the Max Effect on Facebook. There's tons of testimonials there. But even just my personal testimonial, which you and I have talked about, that I have just recently started working out and working out fairly heavy, like not more challenging than I've ever really challenged myself in my adult life as far as working out. And one of the things that I have noticed personally is I literally have no lactic acid buildup. And that is incredible, because usually that's what stops people from going back to the gym, is because they're so sore.
Well, that's exactly what it is. Let's take the gym, for example. I work with a number of professional bodybuilders and amateur levels. My daughter's an amateur about to go pro in one of the classifications. And their workouts are incredibly intense. Sometimes before a competition, 2 a day, 2 hours in the morning of cardio, then 2 hours of anaerobic at night. You don't think lactic acid is going to build up? Well, gosh, you would think so, right? But no, she doesn't have any problems. The team she works out with, they don't have any problems. There's a reason for it. And it kind of goes back to the detox thing again that we had talked about moments ago. Getting rid of that lactic acid, it's a buildup. Right. So you don't want that there. But it's also preparing the muscle tissues. So another thing that you're going to notice, and you probably have since you're working out very intensely now, Peggy, as many of our listeners do, you're going to notice that your nitrogen level pump, if you will, for those who like to lift weights more than most, that pump is going to be very intense, and it's going to last longer, simply because the increased blood flow to your muscles.
Right.
And it's a wonderful feeling, and it's going to enhance the growth level of your muscles. It's going to enhance your cardiovascular endurance to go longer, farther, faster. Right. It's going to keep you in the game. It's just going to keep you in the game.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I've noticed too, is that I have kind of suffered, and so has my son in the past, from sports-induced asthma. So like I could never run. And since I've started using this product, and I've been doing a lot more cardio with this new workout program that I'm doing, I feel like my chest has not been tightening up as much, and I can go farther faster. And I've never been able to run my whole life, and now I'm running, which is really, really incredible.
Yes, your endurance, and you're probably going to notice too that even though we're past our 30s, we don't have that joint pain when we push our bodies to that level. And you got to ask yourself, well, why? What is this? Is this what's going on here? Is this some kind of a miracle? Yeah, it is a miracle. Right. It's a miracle from God, really, at the end of the day. So, and I'm not praising myself at all. I'm third generation recipient of this technology. I just took it to the highest level where we have today, where it's in a very simple 2-ounce spray bottle. Are you kidding?
Right.
That's wonderful.
So simple to use. I wish I had my bottle with me. It's like literally 4 sprays under the tongue. It's so easy. Okay, my last question, and then we'll end it here. If someone does use it and they're really not feeling, any effects from it, what would you say to that person who, we know why we should use it, but if they're going, I'm just not really feeling anything, what would you say to that person?
Well, and that's a great question, because we live in a world of instant gratification. Everything. Yeah, we want results right away. I mean, we don't have time to go out, at lunch and spend an hour with our friends leisurely having a nice lunch. It's fast food. It's this, it's in, it's out, it's boom, boom, boom. Give me something now. I want to feel it yesterday.
Right.
That's just not how the body works. It really isn't. It's our lifestyle. That's the world we live in, but that's not the body we live in, per se. So sometimes, most of our testimonials, people notice something right away. But there are those individuals, it does take a little bit of time. Now, a lot of that is, it's contributing to a lot of different factors there. Part of that can be the detox, which I'm so happy we had the opportunity to elaborate on just a little bit, because, you got to get rid of some of the ick before you can start to feel the results of the good. Again, that's one of the foundational principles of naturopathy. Get rid of the bad so you can build that new house, that new dwelling, that new temple that, that can go bigger, farther, faster, stronger.
Right.
So not to feel it right away, it can be that as a factor. It can be, a variety of different things. But my suggestion is, it's just like taking your physician prescribes you a medication. You may not notice that result.
Right.
That intended result right away. It does take time, and they'll tell you this. That's how the body works. So it's not about a product. It's about how the body responds to it. So sometimes you just got to give it a chance. But a bottle will last you a whole month. And by the end of that first bottle or month, if you haven't noticed anything, I strongly suggest you give it one more shot, because I always used to tell my patients, give it 6 to 8 weeks.
Yes.
So
awesome.
There's an explanation there. It's not about, there's no simple answer. It's the body.
Right.
And everybody's body is different.
Exactly. And everybody's, and if there's nothing chronic to cure, or not to cure, because we don't cure or mitigate anything, but if there's nothing going on, that's too terribly noticeable, that could also, be a factor there, right? Like
no question about it. Yes, then it's not just
problems, or feeling like, for me, like I said, I feel, the definite effects of my respiratory and my recovery is amazing. So, but if somebody's not putting themselves into that situation, I can see where they wouldn't, maybe feel something right away.
We have family members within Valentus that, they've experienced that. It takes a little extra time. And that's not surprising. And then we've got others like, our president and CEO, Mr. Dave Jordan, just has a laundry list of friends who happen to be, professional athletes or previously professional athletes. And why do they love the product so much? So it just goes from one extreme to the other, the gamut, one end of the rainbow to the other.
Right. I love being able to work with you on this regard, because we, you and I together, whenever we do an event for Valentus, I get to, perform microscopy in front of everybody, and you do the explanation. So I love the fact that we can actually show people within under 4 minutes, the difference before their blood before they even tried Prevail Max, because we usually try to pick somebody that's never, had Prevail Max in their body, show them their blood before, and then within 4 minutes show such a drastic difference in the blood flow and the unstickiness of their blood. I just love that we have that, that ability to do that so quickly.
Well, that's a wonderful tool, and we have to use that to our advantage because proof is in the pudding. Seeing is believing. It's right there live. There's no questions. There's no, it's just like, you used it 4 minutes, usually on stage because somebody's talking. It's usually me when you're doing the testing work. But I want to throw this out there so that it's recorded. The best time we've ever done on a microscopy test was 32 seconds on an extremely high-profile professional athlete, a boxer from the UK, from Manchester City. 32 seconds. This guy was getting ready for a big, big fight just a couple of weeks away, and we induced that type of change. So if you can imagine, if we can induce that kind of change in a high-profile, conditioned athlete, can you imagine what that's going to do for us, me, you?
Us, I was just going to say, absolutely. Super. Thank you. Well, Dr. Mueller, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really, really appreciate everything that you do for us and for bringing us this product and for us being the ambassadors of this product. And, everything that we've just said about Prevail Max also holds true for our Prevail Canine, for our pets. And is there anything else you want to close with?
Yeah, just a comment. I do it anytime with you, Peggy, because we share the same common denominator. We do what we do for the right reasons. We care about people and we want to make a difference. That's why I'm here for you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Peggy. Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
You heard it from the horse's mouth. It's this is real stuff. This is amazing. So thanks for joining me. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and reach out to me. Thanks again.
All right. Good stuff, huh? Hey, listen, if you're on my team channel, Team Valentus United, subscribe to the channel and then get back with the person that showed you the video. Okay? And if you are on my personal Valentus channel, subscribe to the channel and get the link out of the description below. Go to my website and learn more. Contact me. Find out whatever it is that you need to find out and get yourselves involved in Valentus. And I would love to work with you and help you to build a team here. Because that's what we do and that's what we love doing and that's what we're going to continue doing. So hopefully we will talk to you in the very near future. And once again, thanks for joining my video and for checking out this content. And right down in the bottom corner of the video, click the subscribe link for YouTube and subscribe to the channel so that you can see all my videos. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye now.